I don't do videos like this much, but this is something I wanted to put out because I feel like if I want to keep providing the most valuable and touching information that I possibly can to help get other people or inspire other people to get to where they want to be in life, these are some things that I learned along the way that have gotten me to where I am today. I am by no means, deemed successful or like I've made it or anything like that, at least in my own eyes. But I have learned a lot, like I said, that has gotten me to where I'm at today that I know would be a lot of key points for some people that could completely change the game for you and everything you have going on in life currently. With that being said, here's my top 10 tips to increase your overall quality of life. Tip number 1 is creativity. I saw this on a random Instagram reel years ago, and it was about the 5 different types of creativity that you need to have to make sure that you're creative in all aspects of life at all times, so that you're always creative around the clock, whether it's a hobby, something serious, something not serious, it doesn't matter, but a spiritual goal, a hobby goal, a work goal, a fitness goal, and a family goal. Okay, so take all 5 of those things and make sure that you're always doing something creative that's pushing you to be better in all of those areas. For example, you want to have a work goal so you can get to the next level with your finances. On the other hand, you want to have a spiritual goal so that you're always improving your relationship with the Lord, right? So it's if you have all 5 of those things, then you're getting better in the 5 most important aspects of your life, right? So that's going to be one thing that just progresses you to the next level, keeps your mind going at all times, and is, like I said, ultimately going to lead to that better quality of life. Number 2 is going to be mastering your emotions. Now, why this is so important, and honestly, this should be like a number 9 or number 10 because that's how important this is. I want this to be one of the first things that you guys seek to do and find and work on within yourself. Now, the reason it's so important to master your emotions is because people operate on emotions. Men and women do it differently and at different statuses, but everybody operates on emotions at the end of the day. You have to learn to not involve that into your goals, into your work life, into your decision making. You need to make sure that you are at, peak, mental and peak logical decision making at all times. Even when something goes wrong, something in a relationship, something work related, doesn't matter. You need to make sure that your emotions are not leading you, and you need to make sure that you're always going into decision makings and things like that with a clear head. Not letting your emotions distract you and make decisions for you is something you always have to keep an eye out for. When your emotions start taking over, that's when you're going to make those decisions that you look back and you regret. Now, I'm a really big fan of this one, so number 3 is staying connected. Now, what I mean by that is not on social media, but with people, and not just the people around you and closest to you in your life, like best friends and family and partners, but I'm referring to people that reach out to you no matter what it is, okay? We all have those friends, or maybe business partners or business friends or clients that just you feel like they want to talk to you all the time, and it's so easy to not answer their text or wait a day or wait a week because it's not convenient for you because you have better things to do. And trust me, I get that. I deal with that on an absolute daily basis. But if you just take the 3 seconds that it actually does take out of your day to answer that phone call, answer that text, you keep everything around you moving and flowing, and you're keeping your world spinning and your progress spinning. So that's just very important because it keeps you organized, okay? And you never know what's gonna happen when, say your buddy reaches out to you and it's like, hey, next week can you come in and shoot this for me? Rather than waiting till next week to be like, yeah, I'll be there today, answer and be like, yeah, bro, what's the plan? Let's do it. Get it booked out, get it planned, because now he's happy. Now you've accomplished another thing, which is just as simple as responding to that person. And now there's less on your plate. Like I said, the world keeps spinning, and you never know what opportunities can come from those things. Say your boy, who maybe you've known for a long time, reaches out to you, hey, can you do this for me? Rather than you waiting a day or 2 to respond or answer his phone call back or call him back, you answer him, and then he might hit you with something else that leads to XYZ. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like making sure that you're never missing out on opportunities that could potentially be there, as well as making sure you're staying organized and never having a super big inbox of unanswered text, voicemails, things like that. So making sure you're keeping up to tabs with all the people that are trying to get in touch with you, because at the end of the day, what you have to realize is at one point, you wish that you were important enough or providing a good enough service that all these people were reaching out to you. And you will get to that point to where now all of a sudden you feel like you're drowning in texts and calls, but it's one of those things you have to remember that you asked for this. All right, number 4 is going to be making sure that you're always working towards a goal. Now, I know that sounds basic and that kind of might tie into the first one with always having like creativity goals, but what I'm referring to is like the end goal, the American dream, the thing that you want most, when you're 30, 40, 50 years old and you finally have that one thing and you spent, your entire life grinding for it. I'm talking about that goal. Make sure that that goal is always very, very clear to you. And it's okay for that goal to change and alternate, and you might, shift directions a little bit, but make sure that you're always aware of what that goal is with yourself, because that's going to make the decisions that you make on a daily basis a lot more, you're gonna take care of that goal more. Make sure that the decisions you're making are making sure that you are moving towards that goal, because if you go and make a decision that keeps you further from that goal, well, you just did yourself and everybody around you a disservice. So make sure that you always have a clear understanding with yourself on what the main goal is. Number 5 is going to be learning to say no. This is arguably one of the biggest points of this entire video. Learning how to say no is so important, so overlooked, and it takes time to get to the point to where I guess you need to learn this, you know what I mean? So if you've never experienced that yet, trust me, it's coming if you're really truly on the path to bettering yourself and doing something great. You have to learn to say no for the reason of self-respect, I guess is the best way to put it, because you can't keep giving out your effort, your energy, your time to people that don't deserve it and things that don't deserve you. So if you can't learn to say no, then all of a sudden you're being pulled in 100,000 directions, and nothing that you care about, that end goal that we keep talking about, or those day-to-day goals, are not going to get accomplished, they're not going to get anywhere, and you're the only person that suffers from that. Not everybody that was finally able to get, that effort and energy out of you that didn't deserve it, you're the one that gets screwed. Example, if, whether it's family or friends and they want you to come over for dinner, but you have a huge, job tomorrow that you're so excited for, that you worked hard for that opportunity, don't go out the night before. Stay home, make sure you're ready, make sure your mind is in check, make sure the truck's packed or whatever. It doesn't matter. You have to make those decisions on when those things apply to you, but you have to make sure that you learn how to say no. And I'm telling you, those first couple times that you do start saying no, it feels like a superpower, because when you say no and turn down those opportunities, it's not like you can just keep focusing on everything that you do, but it's almost like you gain time, because that now you're operating in hours that you almost missed out on, or old you would have missed out on, because you would have said yes. Number 6 is going to be disconnect to reconnect. Now, I am huge on this. Every weekend or every other week, I like to have a big, disconnect week where I do nothing all day. I lay in my pajamas, I watch movies, I eat good food, I play video games all day. It doesn't matter. Make sure that you have somewhere that you can escape to keep your creativity, to give it a reason to come back. You know what I mean? Burnout is a real thing. A lot of people say like, oh, if you love what you do, like you never work a day in your life. And whoever came up with that definitely wasn't working hard enough to do anything, because that's simply not the case. You can love what you do, don't get me wrong, but you will 1000% of the time run into burnouts. It doesn't matter if you love it. It doesn't matter if you do your favorite thing for full time. You go and talk to those guys that do it, I promise you they'll tell you that, it's not all it's cracked up to be. You know what I mean? Because when you're doing it for a job or for appearance or for standards, it's not the same anymore. So make sure you always have somewhere to run to recoup and keep your creativity flowing and get you eager to come back that next day. For me, I like to, on Sundays when I'm able to, I like to do nothing and play video games, be on my phone as least as possible and just do whatever the frick I want to do. And what happens after those Sundays that I am able to do that next Monday, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get back into it and crush the next week until I realize that I need another disconnect day. Number 7 is being confident. This is one that I really learned the past couple months, and it's really changed my whole demeanor, my productivity, and the direction that everything I do is going, and it gives what you're doing and what you're involved in a lot more credibility when you're extremely confident. Now, when I say extremely confident, don't get that confused with, being egotistical and it's your way or the highway. But at the same time, you have to be able to stand firm on what you know is right and what you're confident in. You should be able to tell, like really, really sit down with yourself and tell, like, okay, am I being confident because I know what I'm doing and maybe I've done this before and I know I have the credibility? Or are you just, having an ego, being cocky and stubborn, you know what I mean? So it's really like a heart check you kind of have to do with yourself to figure out, like, okay, am I actually who I say I am? And it takes a lot to learn that, and I think you have to go through some things to learn that. But once you finally do, it really changes how everybody looks at you when you walk into a room. If you can walk into a room of 10 people, and they can all look at you and say, hey, like this man, like this guy's the real deal, that's what you want. And you want to emulate that through the confidence that you walk around with, the confidence on your shoulder. So it's one of those things that definitely takes time and practice and a lot of credibility to be able to consciously walk around with that confidence. But it's, like I said, it's one of those things that you'll see the reward from walking around with that eventually. Number 8, this one's pretty sciencey, but this is a big one for me, and one that I realized that I had going on for myself before I thought about a term for it, and it's to develop your own philosophy. Now, what that means, because a lot of people don't know what that means, I honestly don't even really know what that means, but I know it's the right word, is your own system, basically. However you operate is how you operate, and you are not required by anyone, by anything to change that. If you operate in this manner, don't let somebody else, tell you that you should operate in their manner or in whatever other manner, because you've gotten to where you have by operating your way. And that kind of coincides with the confidence thing a little bit, but it's mainly just sticking to who you are, how you like to do things. For me, for example, being a creative, it's even more so present with that type of job, because like I'm working off creativity. Only I know how to keep my creativity high. XYZ or this client of mine doesn't know how to do that, so I can't listen to them. If they need this and I can't give it to them, then I can't give it to them. So you need to make sure that you are always operating in the way that has gotten you to where you are, but at the same time, make sure you're always working on yourself to, evaluate with yourself to make sure that you're always getting better, improving, moving forward. You got to be careful not to get complacent, but at the same time, don't let other people run your philosophy, your systems, so that's a very, very big one. This is a cliche one, but number 9 is going to be to take care of your inner circle. Now, what that means is we've all heard all the mess about, keep your circle small and pour into those who, pour into you and all this stuff. And, I think that, with who I am and the content I've put out, we're not at that basic level 1 anymore, where it's like, okay, like keep your circle small and only surround yourself with those, who are better than you. Like we've touched on that already, and I want to dig deeper into this. What I mean is, once you have that inner circle, make sure that you are, telling your people that you appreciate them. Making sure you're going the extra mile for them, because then they're going to do the same for you. And then, like we said earlier, the world is just going to keep spinning, and it's going to spin faster, it's going to spin more efficiently, and you're going to grow at a more rapid rate in all the different things that you do, Obviously, we're to the point now to where the inner circle of mine, at least, is hand selected. There's a very intense application process, if you will, figuratively. And the circle that I do have around me is, I do everything that I possibly can to take care of those people, make sure people are being treated right, even if that means you have to butt heads sometimes, you know what I mean? I'm to the point now to where I know who deserves to be in my life, and if I am, say, maybe going through a rough patch with one of these people, well, I still love them. I still want them to be a part of their life. I know they want me to be a part of theirs. So I'm going to do everything I can, even if that means yelling at each other in the face to where we're spitting in each other's face until we figure this shit out, because now we're moving forward together and the relationship is stronger. So it's, like I said, making sure you're taking care of your inner circle of the people that are already in it. I'm not talking about bringing new people in. I'm talking about curating what already is, and doing anything necessary to make sure that you're all growing together. Number 10, and make sure you listen for number 11, the bonus tip, but number 10 is going to be embracing discomfort, okay? I am huge on this one. Now you can do little things like taking cold showers, going for a run outside when it's cold, with no hoodie on or whatever, or eating something maybe without, seasoning or sauce or ketchup, just so you can embrace that discomfort, and it makes you stronger mentally, stronger physically, and you put less, maybe expectations on your plate. It just kind of, creating tougher skin for yourself. So that's one way that you can embrace discomfort, but I'm more so talking about the little things that like actually change you, because you can go and take cold showers every day for a week and you can just stop, and now you're back to that ground zero. But if you find a way to really create discomfort in a way that is long-term, I think that's the key. For example, and this is not financial advice, but I like to, buy things, if as long as they're beneficial to me and like long-term, right? Like good investments. For example, I got a new truck a couple months ago. I really didn't need a new truck. My other one was almost paid off, but I now have a nicer truck with better gas, which is a pro, and it's a new truck. But I took on a little bit bigger of a payment to where now like there's just more fire under me to just keep moving to the next level and make that payment feel smaller than the one before. You know what I mean? I bought a camera lens one time. I could have paid for it in full, but I put it on a firm because now I have another thing that I have to look at every month and make sure that I got the money to cover. Now I'm not saying put yourself in a stressful situation, but choose the nicer house over the crappy house, so your quality of life is better in the nicer house, even if you have to pay more, because now there's that much more fire under your ass to where you're gonna cover those bills. Because why? Because you have no other option. You know what I mean? So if you have a fire under you that's keeping you moving, keeping you going, it's gonna push you to be better. And if you just flat out fail, that just means you quit and you're a loser and you suck. You know what I mean? But so do things that don't make you a loser. You know what I mean? If you can put yourself in a hard, between a rock and a hard place and get out, now you're on the right track. You're on the track to being better. You're on the track to accomplishing the goals that you want to accomplish. But if you find yourself not able to accomplish things that are easy, you're definitely never going to accomplish something hard. All right, as I said, number 11, the bonus tip is to recognize where everything you have is coming from. Whether it's opportunities, the things you physically have or own, the people the family you have, the opportunities you get on a daily basis. Recognize where that is coming from, but not in a way of that it's coming from your hard work or from this one job you did and now you have this. Recognize that that's coming from something bigger, better, higher, and something that we can't even fathom. Recognize that that is coming from God. That is a gift to you. That is Him believing in you, giving you the opportunities to do X, Y, Z, and fulfill the purpose that He has for you. So I would like you guys to think about this and switch your mindset from what you work for to what you're given, and I think that's gonna be the ultimate perception change for you, and another thing that's gonna keep you pushing to the next level. So if I could tell you guys to take away one thing from this video, it would definitely be that. Another thing I wanted to leave with you guys is that, the recognition that none of this is easy. This is years of me learning these things, and I don't do all of these things perfectly. These are just, like I said, a couple of tips, tricks, and things that I have to think about, remember, revisit all the time to make sure that my life is moving in the right direction. There's a million more tips out there. You can go watch 10 YouTube videos on this exact topic and you're gonna get 10 different tips every time. But from where I've gotten to in life at this point, these are definitely some of the most 10 powerful tips that I think about on a daily basis. So none of this is easy, but it is easily worth it. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've never done a sit down video, tripod shot like this, giving tips. I never really deemed myself as credible enough, but I feel like I've gotten to the point now to where, I can throw some videos in like this every once in a while. And for those that want to sit down and listen, which is a way smaller demographic, but I'm going to touch people more than, vlogging throughout a week or whatever. So let me know what you guys think about this video. And yeah, I don't care what you thought about it. I think it was good, but I am curious. So see you guys in the next one.